Okay, awesome. Well, good morning. I know that everybody, this is a different time, but Djai is you're in Amsterdam? Is that where you're at? Or where are you at?
Let's call it Amsterdam. Yeah.
So this is like for us to try to figure out a good time for you and for us. We're doing it 8 a.m. So, but we really appreciate, we have loved the connection with you. You inspire us. And that's one of the things when we feel with our elevated life, we're building a community, and part of that community is because we're in alignment, right? And we're on the same mission together. And so for us to be able to share you and connect you with our people, because we really trust and value you and really love, we tell people, when we were on that Zoom with Jerry and listening to you and Jerry talk, and like the integrity that you have, we really value that. So just thank you for connecting with us and always taking care of us. And like you said, I know you've worked one-on-one with a lot of our group, and we just really appreciate that. And we always are inspired. So we were very excited. We're always excited to hear, what your fun brain is up to.
Well, thank you for those generous words, my dear. It's only a delight to speak in front of you. And sometimes I have this sort of small fear, like, oh, what am I going to talk about? Is there anything new I can talk about? Or am I going to, keep repeating myself? Well, the School of Frequency is really big. The School of Life, what it has to offer us still, just in perspective. I believe a lot of the answers that we already have. It's just how you connect the dots. So today, let's connect some dots more. And let me start off with a couple of things that I've seen come by from the Healy community overall. And it's just to bring an extra emphasis on what Healy is and what it is not. So you might have heard of FSM, frequency specific microcurrent. That is not Healy. It is from one of the practitioners and the doctors in the Time Waver board called Carolyn McMakin. She is working worldwide with an amazing frequency module that you could connect to your Time Waver frequency, which I work with and I make my Healy programs with. But it's something completely different. Healy works with IMF, which is individualized microcurrent frequency, where FSM, the power of FSM, completely relies on a practitioner you have in front of you, as the practitioner will probably just work with 2 frequencies max within 20 minutes, and he would find the necessary frequency for your inflammation, for instance, which is, for instance, 396 hertz and 40 hertz. And then the inflammation is maybe somewhere in the tendon. It's the tendon of your shoulder. So he would pick the frequency of the tendon, which is around 736 hertz. And so that is FSM. Healy is dependent on the one who makes the Healy program. And this person, the cook in the kitchen, it depends on him what databases he selects to achieve the effect that is necessary. So with the many databases out there, you can put unlimited amount of frequencies into a Healy program, but then the quantum sensor picks out these frequencies that are specifically relevant to you right now. Within an hour, you can probably receive between 100 and 500 different unique frequencies. But so I'm saying the power of IMF is the power of the quantum sensor, how it senses and how it knows what you need in the moment. So that's why the Healy magic is something completely different than FSM and any other frequency module you would find on the planet, probably, because this quantum sensor changes the frequency every 10 seconds. And so, yeah, it's, that's the level where it works on. And what more to tell about it before it becomes too complicated? I think I leave it at that. So second thing, the quantum sensor is a noise generator and a quantum sensor, one that receives and one that sends. That what it sends out is on the basis of light particles and photons and electrons. This is purely information, and the quantum sensor senses of what that is mirrored back, pushed back out of your field as a response, and the quantum sensor sees what your field responds best to, and therefore it can make a top 10 or a top 3 of the frequencies that are tested, so to say, in what it will then select for you with the software of Healy that we all work with. This is important to understand, because then there is this phenomena where people think they can record a sound with the quantum sensor, right? You go to onlinesoundgenerator.com and you pick a specific frequency, for instance, the 40 hertz against inflammation, and then you can save it as a sound on your Healy. This is sadly enough not true. That's not how it works. But still, you can make it work, because the thing that does work for the quantum sensor is intention-based, right? Your intention is the carrier wave of the effect that wants to be realized, okay? And that is what the quantum sensor is here to support, a certain effect. So your intention is that carrier wave that you could still, with intention, record the sound, but don't expect the sound to be recorded, because when we go into, I think I might elaborate a little bit more how sound actually works and what a different healing effect it has on your body than frequency. But yeah, that's the only technical thing you guys need to know for what Healy is not and what it is.
I love that. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, good to know, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, probably in a previous webinar, I also talked about how can you integrate frequencies, like how does the flesh of you, how does your water integrate the frequencies best? Now, this, we all know classic, drink your water and may your water be vital, clean, and happy. There are many water technologies out there. I don't know how you guys get your water, but preferably let it be happy and vital, and if you can, also clean enough. But just cleaning it through charcoal, through electrolyze processes, or the water distiller that puts out perfectly clean water, it still comes out dead. And for me, as a practitioner with studies in electrical engineering, the voltage of your cells, right, is so much more important than if it does or does not contain harmful elements, because our bodies are too brilliant, too much of a genius for that to filter out anyway. So if I would give one suggestion in the direction of healthy water, let it be vital and happy. Use your heart energy, your intention, whether you have a vortex spindler in your house where you can move the water through. Some crystals might work, but it's especially through the movement of water where it starts to revitalize itself. And to share with you one technology that I really believe in on this area of perfect revitalization is when you Google theimploder.com. This is from the work of Dan Winter. He basically rediscovered the perfect spiral of life and the universe. And he created a water technology purely based around this perfect spiral with some special metals and some magnetics, but that's it, right? And he already showed that you could neutralize 80% of the harmful elements in the water, depending on where you are. Because of course, in the US, especially some regions in the US, you should really filter your water first before you put it through your vitalizer. But this is, I believe, the best vitalizer you have in the world, just without any electricity needed for that. And yeah, that's my tip. So that's the water you drink. Then the grounding, of course, that you need. Why the grounding? Why barefoot on the floor? Well, it's basically, it has everything to do with those frequencies that need to enter your system. So you are connected to the planetary grid, which also means everything connects better to you. It's these negative ions that you then are exposed to, and only through that gravitational pull that then happens, these frequencies start to communicate much better with your flesh, with all the liquids in your body. For example, if you would live on a 3-story high building, at least you would live on the 3rd floor. From that point, your body already has a harder time connecting to that Earth's grid. You would lose a lot of that healthy Earth electricity in the air. And if you would then use your Healy, I noticed it myself, the frequencies, they just disappear into the air. They don't go anywhere. They don't know where to go. And that's why when you're sitting in a plane, there are a couple of programs that work very well with that, because they neutralize some of the smog that is in the air. But after a couple of hours, the frequencies, they hardly know how to find a way. And this is my experience mostly. From a science point of view, I have my arguments for it. But yeah, you can also try it yourself one day and see how that is. Okay, we are mostly water, and we are actually one big liquid crystal being. Water is still the medium. So you use water to, for instance, water your plants. And if you look at yourself right now as a plant, and you have all this whole environment inside you with all these different plants that need watering, then water, the healthy water, is the perfect food. But then how you can also support for everything to grow, you need a couple of minerals. And there are 3 very important minerals that we need to increase the conductivity, right? We work with microcurrent frequency, so we need conductivity. This is silica, magnesium, and boron. Now, of course, it depends on who you are, where you are, what your background is, and if you would ever do a mineral scan, you would see what your unique composition of that is. Of course, it is good to nourish the depletions and to take away the excessive mineral congestions. But these 3 minerals, silica, magnesium, and boron, provide a very overall important function for this conductivity that we like to achieve. And I hope that makes sense for you guys. Now, I made one program, you've heard of it, mineral grounding. If your body has a hard time absorbing minerals, or you just want to make sure you have all the minerals in its information, you can use that program. And grounding, right? Water, grounding, and minerals are sort of a sacred triangle that complement this conductivity that you want to make sure is there when you work with microcurrent frequency. Okay.
Hey, Djai, can I ask a question on that real quick? When you talk about scanning your minerals personally, is the vital substances in the Healy and the Blue app, is that a way to scan those, or is there any way in the Healy to scan?
Yes, you have the cell salts, of course. There are some minerals showing up with the vital substances, and back in the days it was called amino acids. Yeah, you can scan them and make sure that you got some of them vibrated into your system. But then again, you don't have an overview of what you're depleted in. You just, you just douse in the maze of the possibilities of cell salts, for instance.
Okay. And by the way,
Yeah.
we have your mineral program
Good.
and love it.
Yeah, it's a great program.
Yeah.
I love it too. Okay, now spinal waves. In the previous webinar, I also mentioned this. This is just, it doesn't matter what you do, what type of yoga, or maybe you like to dance, but it's where when you move the spine, where the central nervous system just directly moves through, to increase the mobility of the spine in some way, you will help the nerve tracts to also optimize their distribution. And if the spine has that coordinative moving intelligence and it knows that, then it will also move the frequency through your body much more efficiently. And then the final thing, yes, I'm very excited about this. This is this little bottle over here. Okay, this is called nanosoma. If you're a practitioner, this will probably help your practice very, very much and your health in general. If we should believe the vision behind this product, this is the end of supplementation, because it goes straight to the core of what we should get out of our food, right? And if water is the most important medium to health in general, it is the geometry of these water molecules in your body, and this is the perfect geometry. The molecule that it's about is called metakedol. It has been extensively researched. It is very simple in its nature, but what this does is nerve regeneration. So in order to work better with Healy, it is good to have healthy nerves. And your body is able to take up more microcurrent frequency when the nerves are have a clear and solid sheath around them. It's part of the myelin sheath. And what this also does, it's sort of a probiotic. So again, it's the end of supplementation. It helps all the bacterial life and the fungal life that lives within us to optimize their function. It works straight on their DNA, on the DNA. And this will help the dehydration on a very deep cellular level. I've been using this for a while now, around 4 months. I've been using it on clients, and I think it's mostly because of this product that the integrations and the work that we've been doing have been doing so much better. It's grateful work to work with these things, of how it does. And yeah, are there any questions around this, the nanosoma?
No, if you send me the link for that, I'll send it out to everybody when we send out the recording.
I will put it also in the chat. It is the nanosoma.com. And yeah, you will definitely enjoy that. So
I have a quick
recommended
question.
to, yeah, sorry.
Could you repeat the 3 minerals that were essential? I have magnesium, boron, and then what was the third one?
Silica.
Silica. Okay, thank you.
Good. Yes. Yeah, that all ties in with the fascia we have in our body, these minerals, and also the nanosoma. I think I will come back to that later, because that's actually where the magic of water comes down to, is the magic of fascia. Like, how much do we actually know of water? The same thing goes for how much do we actually know about fascia. But for now, I'm going to talk about how to do a system reboot with frequency. Because, you know, there are many holistic modalities out there. Traditional Chinese medicine is one of them. Ayurvedic practices, foot reflexology, hand reflexology, so many reflexology charts out there for different parts of your body. And then we work with Healy in the microcurrent frequency domain. Now, all these different modalities, they might tie in with each other perfectly in some views that can complement each other. But still, the frequency world has its own way of viewing. If you want to work from the ground up, from the bottom up. So this is for people who want to start building a strong foundation in their physical, emotional, and mental body. So let me suggest 3 weeks, okay? 3 weeks with 3 themes. And week 1 is theme number 1. That is about the kidneys, the circulation, and the heart energy and organ. This is the foundation of your body, and it's always a good way to start. The kidneys, they are regulators of the body, filters, and they govern this mother energy. They make your blood clean. They put out some waste through the urine, and they give you this solid feeling of security and safety. This, of course, you need to do anything, to support any process in the body. And now that it also helps to create blood through the bone marrow, with this blood being created, it needs to be circulated through the body. Now, we all know that the heart is sort of a pump. It's actually, it's so much more than a pump, but it pumps the blood towards all the arteries and the vessels to take it to all the tissues in the body. And if the blood stands for your life force and that life love that you have, let it penetrate all the tissues in your body. So this is the first foundation in the path of healing, right? Is to get all that love that you generate in the heart, to get it to all in your existence, to where the blood gets, and that's everywhere. So the kidneys, they create that healthy blood. They filter the blood. You need that circulation to get it all into every tissue, and we need that heart energy optimal, because you can't heal yourself if you're only working from the problem-solving mind. Like, oh, what do I need now? Oh, what goes wrong now? Ooh, what is happening now? I don't know. And you're constantly in this peak performance of worrying all the time. When you activate the heart and you sort of grab your consciousness and put it more down into your body, that is where the healing actually starts. So these kidneys and the heart, as that first foundation with the right attitude, standing in your healing process and committing to this system reboot, that is what this first week is all about. So Healy programs for this purpose in the first week is, of course, any kidney program. Yeah. Energy from the gold cycles. Circulatory system from bioenergetic harmony and or the circulation from the meridians. Free flow in the deep cycles.
Phil,
and go to the roots.
how much are those roof vents?
Can
You
you-
know,
Denise, can you repeat
25?
yourself? Sorry.
Yes, no worries. So I said free flow in the deep cycles and go to the roots. And then, of course, the heart chakra. If you feel attracted to other programs that help you with this theme, feel free to use it, of course. Now, then I have 3 of my expert programs that help this, because I think for this first theme, the most programs you find in just the Healy. I have a program that is called Kidney Success. Powerful program. It contains a lot more therapeutic based frequencies for the kidneys. People with kidney failure have been complimenting me with very generous feedback on this program. Yeah, so it's Kidney Success, that's a program I call. Then Overall Clear. This is an unlisted program. I've only been sharing it with clients one-on-one, but it's just a 20-minute program, and it contains 20 frequencies that are related to this perfect spiral that I talked about, that come from Dan Winter. And it basically, these are 20 frequencies that perpetuate, help life propagate, ascend, like it will connect you to the Earth's frequency and to the frequency of photosynthesis, but in this case, how your energy produces cells, to some galactic spins that are important, to the spin of the planet, to the base resonance of the human body and how the cells manage their metabolism. It's also a very good program to neutralize negative energies. So energies, any energy that doesn't help life propagate, so it is entropic, it creates chaos instead of order. These frequencies bring order into the system. And these frequencies have been proven already in the 1970s by a electrical engineer called Antoine Prioret. And this guy had millions in his budget from the French government to do research on frequency and plasma. And he treated thousands of people with these set of frequencies. And it's always been an amazing success. So yeah, overall clear. Then heart healing, that's the final program for this theme. You can find it on my website. And if I name any program that you can't find on my website directly, just feel free to email me and I'm happy to elaborate more on it or just send you. Okay. Any questions on week 1?
So Dawn, a different Dawn, not me, Dawn Lazar said that her kidneys, male and female, pop up a lot and wants to know if you can explain a little bit about that. And I've had that question a lot. So, you know, when you do the analysis, this doesn't have anything to do with this, what you're talking about, the week 3, but people do ask me that question since we're talking about kidneys, is a lot of times, and I find this with, like, a woman will get male kidney. I have my own thought process around that when the analysis comes up, but what is yours, Djai?
Yeah. Well, male or female, we all have kidneys, so they always have things in common. So that these frequencies, male or female, come up for you as a male or female, I wouldn't really be minded with the too much of the details. But when it comes up all the time so high, yeah, that's an interesting theme to work on. What part of the kidney is in dysfunction with you or is craving attention? Is it the filtering part where you have a mind fog a lot in your life, or you find it hard to take things in on that level? How is your life's juice? Your do you wake up vital and awake in the morning, or is it a slow startup? There are many different themes you can connect to the kidney, and if you would do a little bit of research on that, you can maybe intuitively sense what the Healy is trying to tell you, because this comes, especially the all kidney male, the female, the all kidney female programs, they work on a deeper level. So you can also think on a more spiritual level. What does that mean?
Yeah, I agree, absolutely. And one of the things I have found, at least in like people that are close with me, when male comes up and you're a female, I always ask what their emotional state is like, because a few people that I know, they're processing a lot of emotions. And it seems like the male kidney comes up a lot with my female people when they're processing a lot of emotions. So
yeah, interesting. It can all be a sign that it has to do with the emotion that's flowing around the theme of masculinity, even, you know. We all have a masculine side, so yeah.
Awesome, thanks. So that was just around kidneys, but yeah, this week 1 sounds great. And so I guess a clarity on this. So you gave us like the focus, but what kind of how often do you think, you know, you didn't talk about how often they should be running these programs, or is there are they just,
Yeah, so the program suggestions I gave here, you can play around, but my suggestion would be, if I gave you these as this is the thematic of theme 1, then you could intuitively see or grab a pendulum, or maybe you just went to a naturopath and he gave you a full body scan. What is your part in this? How are your kidneys right now? What type of a boost do they need? If you don't need the kidneys support that much, then you can go to the circulation. Make sure that all this good juicy blood, your life force, is reaching all the tissues, and that you get this heart chakra and the heart mechanism going. So play around with the programs based upon your unique situation. Does that make sense?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So week 2, we go to the intestines, the lungs, and the nervous system. Now, actually, you could say that the nervous system that's the thing what we directly work on with these microcurrent frequencies. And to have a healthy or a relaxed nervous system that is able to take in the stimulus is actually step number 1. But now that we are doing a system reboot, the nervous system, we like to keep relaxed and conductive in this sense. But if you are, for instance, a person that is easily overstimulated, that is easily agitated, that or is worn down really quickly, actually a lot comes from the information that happens in the intestines. And these are the small intestines and the large intestines. This whole domain, this second brain in the body, needs to be optimized first in its function. And this has a lot to do with the lymph. Now, another cleanser of the body or purifier of the body is our lungs. And through our breath, we also move a lot of energy in the system. And you will notice when your intestines are clogged up or congested, or they are depleted in some way, you will also notice it in your lungs. And the lung stands for how you expand your energy into the world and how you can express yourself and how well you feel in your being. The worst thing for the lungs is the fear to that existence will end, the end of life, actually death. So the intestines, the lymphatics around it, that drain a lot of the toxins that are held in the intestines, therefore also the emotions. You have in front of the small intestine, you have this sort of how do you call it in English? A slate. It's called the mesenterium. It is same. It's actually the same. It's part of the intestines, but it's much more focused around releasing and distributing anything that is considered waste, that should be discarded. If it does not do that, then the mind fog is the best example, that things are cloudy in your brain, things are cloudy, misty in your life. There's never a clear perspective. There's so much rubbish actually in front of your digestive system, right? So they literally clear the windows of our glasses, the intestines. Yeah. When you fix the intestines, then go to the lungs. So that is step number 2 in this week 2, that you make sure that the energy that you released out of the intestines is then put through back into its potential through the lungs. Yeah. And then when you work with the nervous system, you can help it as a backing support. The nervous system and the endocrine system are so closely related to each other, right? They are dependent on each other. The hormones that come from the endocrine systems are the signals in our body. Let your signals be clear and precise, and have the healthy signals. So Healy programs for this is, of course, intestines from the bioenergetic harmony, small and large intestine from the meridians, the lymphatic system in the meridians, being and pure from the gold cycles, breath of life and the lung meridian. Of course, these are suggestions when you find other programs or you have additional nutrition mixtures in your subscription. Feel free to find any other program. And then you have free flow and clean all. Now, all these programs that I mentioned here, you can use them as a continuation in the 3rd week, because I will explain how this works. The 2nd and 3rd week, they are an extension of each other. But then there's another thing that happens in the intestines, and it has to do with radiations, electrosmog, electrosensitivity. If you are a person that is easily overstimulated, then you're probably a person that is easily electro-overstimulated, whether you know it or not. And the intestines and this mesenterium, what I talked about, they actually absorb these radiations. So to detox yourself from the electrosmog on the many different levels that they come with, whether it's Wi-Fi, whether it's from a UMTS tower, electrosensitivity from the protection programs, of course. And a final thing here, or is that let me see. Yeah, allergy meridian and programs from the job page, right? It is all about the nervous system. So allergy meridian, nerve meridian, the job programs, whether it's fatigue, extreme stress, learning programs also, all of that is nervous system and how your nervous system learns, okay? So if you already have a quite good nervous system, you can forget this part in the 2nd week, actually. Then you just want to continue with the specific organs, the software of the body to optimize them more. Then I have a couple of sorry?
Oh, so that's interesting on allergy meridian. So that works with the nervous system?
Yeah. Because the moment the body shows allergic symptoms, the nervous system actually made that happen. It put through it excited way too much, and so yeah, you can work from the outside in on that sense. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So the expert programs for this 2nd week is Detox Start. Yeah. It approaches the intestinal tract. Inflammation, this is probably my most popular symptom program. Whether you're a person who has inflammation or not, it can be very good to use sometimes because some inflammations are dormant and yeah, you wouldn't notice it. Then endocrine balance, because I told you, right, the nervous system works very closely with the endocrine system. And the endocrine system, my program, is very different from the hormonal balance you find in Healy. It works, I know what I put in it, the program. It works on the endocrine tissues and how they excrete the hormones, but it does a lot more than hormones. It also works with neurotransmitters. And this system is a very good, sort of the sister of the nervous system. And then for the lungs, I have the program 19 Recovery. You would find it in it's a COVID program. But it's the best lung program I have ever experienced so far. And it's the longest you can find in your Healy. It covers all the lung pathology, symptom frequencies that are out there. So it can only do a good job, I think. And people have been having great experiences with it. Yeah. And then finally, for the radiations I talked about, it's Radiation X. You would find it in the detox protocol on my website. A longer program than the electrosensitivity and a lot more radiation frequencies in it too. Good. Any questions about week 2?
So just to clarify, so again, going intuitively based off of each person, intestines, lungs, nervous system, and then from there going into really like the electrosensitivity, allergy, those kinds of things.
Yeah, which means basically, to summarize week 2, everyone can use work on their intestines. Everyone. There's not a person, unless you're a breatharian and you're living on prana, All of our all of our intestines, they keep a lot of the information that we are exposed to every day, and yeah, on whatever way to work on that, it's good.
Yeah, well, I have people that ask me, because like I said, I'm a colon hydrotherapist, and people will say, oh, well, I don't need to get that done. I'm like, everybody needs to work on their colon. Everybody needs to work on their intestines.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone.
I mean,
There's
even if
no-
you're breathing, like you said, even if you're just breathing in, there's so many toxins and so many things that are happening these days that you got to give your body support to
Yeah.
get rid of them. So
True.
awesome.
And it all happens through that intestinal tract. Otherwise, your tissue would lose. They would lose that vitalizing energy to keep them alive. Anyway,
Yeah.
okay. So week 3, we go to the liver and the spleen, and in general the mental body. Right, the mental body is sort of the vague theme around these, but the organs related to these are the liver and the spleen. Even in the embryology, when we were an embryo, the liver and the spleen have a very interesting dance around how the whole tube, digestive tube, was created. And so it's very interesting to see what function they fulfill. I got to tell you that the spleen is a mysterious one. For me to really dive into it, let's keep it for its mystery, but it will give you a grounding effect to your mental body. It is the nourisher of your healthy thoughts, your happy thoughts. And when you are worrying and keeping your staying in that downward spiral of depression, that is a depleted spleen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And many of us, we have a spleen deficiency in its chi, in its energy, because we're bombarded with all the things we need to worry about or think about. And yeah, so the answer for this third week is, of course, to minimize the stress in your life. Now, so the liver, let it be clear that that is actually, the liver decides how your mental body is functioning, if you are, what type of inspiration you attract, the openness of your mind towards the world, how you process information, how you digest information, of course. And because it's such a big metabolizer, we need to detoxify it at times. And that's why it's so good to do it with the intestines, because again, week 3 is a continuation of it. When the intestines are more ready to receive, then the liver can let go of what it has in it. So a program for this is, of course, the liver from the meridians, fatty degeneration in the meridians, the spleen pancreas program, that's an easy one. Digest all in deep cycles. Clean all, again. First, second, and third application from the deep cycles. Pure and care from the gold cycles. And because this is about the mental body, what the spleen really likes is the program coherence. And in this third week, a lot of emotional things actually can be worked on. So use the programs from the mental well-being page with inner unity, emotional well-being, soul well-being. What's that page called again? Yeah,
Under
you know what I mean, right?
mental balance, under that page.
Yeah, mental balance. Yeah. So those programs work very well on the spleen and the well-being of the liver emotionally, because it's all emotional tension actually energetically held there. And then allergies. This is a direct one that works on the liver. The liver is the prime organ around allergies and its contributing factors. Immune system, of course. So this is already a strengthening program. It works as well on the liver and the spleen. These are two immune organs, and the learning programs. And this is just considering the mental body. So you see, it's a continuation upon the second week. So every program I told you for week 2, feel free to use them again in the third week, depending on where you are. Then my expert programs are for this third week is brain motivation, yeah, for the mental body. And because it also works on the brain, it works on the aspect of the liver that opens channels. It opens inspiration.
Did you say that was brain motivation?
Brain motivation, yes.
You know, I gotta share a personal experience Brian and I had with that one. We ran your brain motivation with the mental protection at the same time, because we like to dive into running a couple Healys on ourselves at once. And both of us had the most amazing experience with that. Like, we had so much we got done. We didn't get distracted at all. We had all this creativity. It was really amazing.
I think it sounds like the perfect combo, because I have the same when I just run mental, but the mental program is much more of a, like it says, a protection program. But then the brain motivation is really to push something forward, help you to, yeah, great, love it, great to hear. So then another program is light body. This is the energetical part. The mental body is one of the is already the most subtle body if you compare it to the emotional body or the physical body. It comes from a completely different density. So to come to that level, light body program from my field enhancing series is very very beneficial.
I use that
and then
one.
the last,
I use that one in our we do a spiritual activation journey with our frequencies, and I use your light body in that. Deanna had a great experience with that one. So very cool.
Lovely. Yeah. Then the final 2 expert programs is parasites and candida, because, you know, of course, the microorganisms that are harmful and that leech onto us, that attach physically in our system, let's expel them, let's throw them out. Candida isn't bad, but the overgrowth is. So this is how we just embody our fields completely ourselves instead of any other element, of course.
Yeah. And that I use that candida a lot. I always talk to people about their emotional state, also their sleep state. Like, you can find out, look at the symptoms of candida. I mean, I feel like everybody should be doing a parasite and candida cleanse every year. Every year.
Yeah. True. Me too. So to top off this third week, I'm going to share with you how to do a liver and gallbladder cleanse purely based on frequency. And I'm very excited about this because you maybe have heard of that book, The Amazing Liver and Gallbladder Cleanse or Detox from Andreas Moritz. And it's an amazing method, actually. It's quite powerful, but sometimes, very impactful. I've done it 6 times in my life, and maybe the last 2 weren't as, I didn't like it that much, but the effects that you like to achieve is very beneficial. But then one day I did a cleanse and I just used frequencies, and it was almost as effective as applying the liver and gallbladder cleanse with the Epsom salts, the oil, and the apple cider vinegar. So this is how you do it. It's very simple. You choose 3 days where you are going to do a liquid fast. This could be with juices, with water and tea, and maybe a little liquid soup in the evening, if you don't like the hunger. So in these 3 days, before these 3 days, you're gonna add at least 4 or 5 days of apple cider vinegar. Take it every day, 1 or 2 doses every day, and you keep doing that for these 3 days that you're fasting. But then on the second day that you're on the fast, you're gonna run all your liver programs, all the gallbladder meridian, fatty degeneration. I already gave you some liver associated programs here. Feel free to use all of them. But run them wild. You can maybe even on these 2 days, because you're already so open and clear because of the fasting, you can give yourself 4 programs. Feel what your body needs here. So then on these last 2 days, your body starts to gather the stones, the gallbladder, the gallstones in the liver and the gallbladder themselves, and it will throw it out, because the frequency not just accumulates the stones, but it will also move it through the tubes. That's what the frequencies do. They massage it through the tubes. And normally you would take Epsom salts for that, to open up the tubes, and you would use the oil to create this sliding effect. But imagine that you now just have frequencies that do all the work for you. So don't be surprised that after this 3rd day of fasting, you will poop out these stones. And if you would then do a hydrocolonic with Dawn, she can maybe confirm that she will see the stones moving through the tube. So this is an experiment for you guys. I've already tested it 3 times, not just on myself, but on some other friends and people who were curious, and it all worked. But not for everyone as successful, of course, because we have all different bodies. Yeah,
I love that. That's awesome. One of the we shared this last year when you did our Zoom. Purely because I put people on a lot of cleanses, and we've been working on parasites with Brian for 6 months. I had done, I don't know, 4 different protocols on him, and we still couldn't get, we were doing a lot of testing. We still couldn't get rid of them completely. We used your parasite program and a couple other frequency programs for 4 days. He did something very similar to this and knocked out many of the parasites that we couldn't get rid of. So it does work, frequencies, and it's so much easier. That's why I have all my clients get a Healy or do frequency therapy with me, because it's hard to sometimes taking all the stuff and doing it physically isn't as easy, but if they use the frequencies, it's just as effective or more, and much easier to do. And that's the whole point, is to help people to actually make changes, right? And with frequency, it's easy to make changes.
Correct. Yeah, it makes it so much easier.
Awesome. I love this show.
Yeah, I think I'm almost done. I am done, but let me just finish something about this. When you fast, what happens? Okay, and let's talk about water here, because we are water, as you know, and water is the perfect medium. We are a liquid crystal beings, but there's something very interesting on this. Imagine that the level that you work on with Healy works from the outside in. You work on an electromagnetic spectrum, especially with microcurrent frequencies. You already work a level deeper when you work with the blue app, which is scalar wave level. But there's a level where you can work from the inside out. And I just want to mention this for the people who notice, who come from something chronic, and it's hard for them to figure out where to start. When they run a program, but they don't feel it that it arrives that impactful or that well in their system, or just in general, you like to know the cause. What I work with, and this comes from the practice of biodynamic osteopathy, is where the body is built out of layers of fluid. Layers of fluid bodies, and they are aquatic in nature. When you in this way, you start to talk with the body and tap into a level of the body, of its own language, of its own water. It's purely sound based. So this is the reason why sound healing works, and why adding sound healing to your frequency therapy is so effective. Because some sounds, they resonate with a certain level, This is not on an electrical level. This is a base magnetic aquatic level. And when you mix that with your microcurrent frequencies, you can amplify the effect of Healy. And maybe that's actually what you shared. Some people had amazing experiences of it.
Yeah.
But how I would describe this, in one way, you're working from the outside in with microcurrents. And at the same time, you have a mechanism installed where you work from the inside out, which is the sound, and which is the water that makes us. Now, these aquatic bodies bring us back to the embryo, where we were an embryo and things could have already gone wrong there. And we took these patterns in our lives, and it created patterns in our lives. And so all I want to say in this session, if there are people listening to this and you feel like what I've been saying, what you've been struggling with, I can give you a full body scan. I can treat your aquatic bodies to open up more, to work, to accept frequencies from the outside in. And I will give you a more personalized list of what programs are currently much more relative for you right now. Much more applicable for you right now in your situation. Okay, that's the last thing I wanted to share about water. Because, you know, when you talk about water, you also talk about fascia, and fascia has at least 3 phases. It is the ultimate conductor and regulator of the body. It is the one that if you have an intention, it helps your intention to put that carrier wave into the field. And it is sort of, if you are a quantum computer programmer, whether you like it or not, your thoughts create the reality. The quality of your fascia decides if you if the things manifest themselves around you purely or with more misty, cloudy quality. You know what I mean? I hope this is not too vague or as confusing to you guys. But when you work with the fluid fields of the body, this is the level what you approach it, what you reach it on.
I love that. So can you just to clarify in my head, it's fascia? Is that what you're talking about? Fascia?
Yeah.
And what exactly is fascia? Like what?
What exactly is the fascia? It connects everything in the body. They call it, it's a part of the connective tissue. It is the silica network of the body, the communication system. You would find it everywhere. So and the fascia is the prime example of when you feel tension in the body. That's where the fascia locked it down, and the muscle reacted to that, and the nerves reacted to that, and the blood reacted to that. But it's the fascia that is that prime holder of your consciousness, that the physical components in this sense, mainly collagen, and yeah, that's the information holder, liquid crystal network.
Yeah, thank you I just know that I wanted to get that clear so people knew exactly what you were talking about when you're talking about fascia. So
yeah.
Awesome. That was, wow.
I know, that was brilliant.
A lot of information, huh?
So good. I thank you so much, Djai, so much. Like, does anybody have any questions before we end, or for Djai? Because I know he's shared a lot. I think awesome.
Everyone is exhausted. Yeah, our mental bodies have a lot to digest right now, but yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this. This is an amazing journey, and digest this information. As I said, with these 3 weeks of system reboot, this is from a frequency perspective, what microcurrent frequency can do for you, apart from meridians coming from traditional Chinese medicine or Ayurveda or reflexology charts. This is one of its own. So use your Healy wisely.
I love that. Thank you. Yeah, you know, and it's like, for us, we continue to we continue to have these, we want to always inspire people to be using their Healys, and because our Healys are so profound. Like we have such an amazing tool with our Healy in our hand, and there's so many ways that we can use it. And I just love that you gave people a lot of different ways today, and to really help them. So Deanna, I see that you have a question.
Yeah.
Deanna, or no?
Oh, yeah. Could you repeat the 3 programs to use on, for the liver and gallbladder cleanse? You said liver, and then what were the other 2 programs?
Any liver program, any gallbladder program that you can find. Fatty degeneration is another one of them, and allergies, allergy meridian.
Okay.
Yeah, these are directly correspond to the function of the liver, but because you're doing a liver and gallbladder flush, you mainly want to focus on those programs to support those functions. Yeah.
And also if you have digital nutrition, there's a liver, there's a program in the digital nutrition for liver as well, which I find I get that one quite often. So I'm always working on my liver.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. So tomorrow we'll send out this recording. With that, we'll send out Djai's website, which is schooloffrequency.com. And he's amazing if you want to work one-on-one with him. And then also, Djai, will you also send us that link to the, is that a spray or drops of the nanosoma?
Oh, yeah.
Spray. You spray it a couple of times per day, just like this. You do 1 month with 1 bottle, and it's recommended to at least apply it for 3 months, but maybe you want to use it for the rest of your life, because it should be in our food. This is what makes this is actually what gives you the power of what you should normally get from food and the sun.
Awesome. I love that. Well, Djai, I hope, we have our Healy retreats that we're doing. We're actually going to be, Brian and I are really working on getting several a year together here. We're going to be putting out our calendar for the year here soon. And someday we would love for you to come here. To the Eastern Sierras. You would love, we have fresh water right from the Sierras that come down into our backyard. The back of our backyard is the oldest trees in the world. And anyway, there's just an amazing area. So someday that is our goal, to have you come here and hang out with us.
I would love it. I would love it. Definitely. Let's stay in touch about that.
Awesome.